Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan with a big, beautiful bath and a half Cougar. And I'm going to say only 11,260 pounds, which I get. It's not a half-ton towable ultralight, I understand. But start looking at other big front bath and a half triple slide fifth wheels, and you're gonna start seeing like 13,000 pounds and up. This shaves like 2,000 pounds off of most of those things, but we still get a full-time RV warranty, amazing hot-cold climate package, automatic leveling, factory standard solar, carpetless, quiet air conditioners, amazing storage, awesome cabinetry. Like, it has a laundry list of awesome qualities that you get off all those big full-time luxury fifth wheels. You pretty much get all the same stuff here. You're just getting it for less money and less weight, and that ain't bad. When this floor plan first came out, it was last year, and we at Haylett RV were the very first ones in the nation that had a chance to touch it. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, that can kind of skew me. I get real excited about just the fact that I got the first crack at something. I'm aware of that personality flaw that I have, if you will. So when this one came in, I realized I'm just as excited about it now as I ever was, because it wasn't just, oh, I got the first one. I got the first of a very cool one is really what it was, because the living room you've seen 100 times and it's great. The bedroom, okay, fine. It's this front room up here. It does everything, guys. And as funny as it's going to sound, I actually want to almost go about this one backwards, because I think it's the front end of this one that is really, it's truly captivating aspect. Like, this living room is extremely well executed. It's got all the windows on the door side. You see, you've got the blackout roller shades to blot everything out. Entertainment's awesome, and we're gonna come back here and see this in far more detail, because obviously I'm just scoot boogieing on through here. But as we start backing up, it's this upper deck of this one that I think really gives it its shape and character. And when I said we're gonna do this one backwards, I didn't mean literally walking backwards, but hey, here we are now. It begins up here with that funky little nook. I don't want to call it a loft, but just this interesting little storage nook. And then down here, we've got our 70 by 80 optional king bed with a 60 by 80 standard queen. And up top, we have the option for a second centralized factory air conditioner. Now, all of that sounds pretty common stock and rank and file. It's when we slide up here into the bathroom that, for me, this one really goes, oh, here's where they did it. Here's where they made it unique. And we're gonna start just right up top. Just a giant mirror. Not a bunch of cabinets in your face, just a mirror that makes the whole room look and feel bigger. You get to see what you look like before the neighbors do, and you know, you don't, it doesn't feel claustrophobic, because it's not a wide body, you know. But this right here is something I am so glad they did. When this floor plan was first prototyped, when it was released in 21, it had dual sinks, because that's the cool thing everybody was doing, was dual sinks, right? But there's a lot of people that argue, and I find myself among them, why do I need two sinks in something this size? It doesn't make sense to me. And when we threw that at the Cougar brand manager that we were talking to, he went, huh, I see your point. I could see how people would like a lot of extra counter space. They still have a place to put a wastebasket. And instead of just a weird open cabinet with plumbing running through it like the other one, let's just give them lots of drawer space here. I see what you're going for. And what surprised me, and it actually was the point I realized, Cougar's turned a new page, and they are really listening to feedback here, and they are really trying to give people what they're asking for. And they went to that single sink. They went to the extra counter or drawer space and counter space, and I think the model's better for it. Now you can see that this is such a huge, fluffy, friendly bathroom. All the room in the world around the toilet. Awesome headroom here in the shower. But what is really wild to me on this one, every front bathroom seems to handle this a little different. I've never seen someone go about it quite like Cougar did. And I gotta tell you, I'm a fan. Because by default, you walk in here, and this is just a walk-in closet with just like a halo of storage. And in case you're curious, yes, the hangers are far enough away from the wall that you can actually put a coat hanger on there and it'll be able to hang. But it's symmetrical. It's pure storage. It's very clever. It's very space effective. And another thing, this is one of the only Cougar fifth wheels that is prepped and capable for a washer and dryer instead of just washer dryer combo. But the way they did it is a little bit different. You can put a combo under the right-hand side as we just saw it, or you can do not a stackable, but a side-by-side, because you can put a dryer unit there. So it's a walk-in closet. It could be a laundry room. But when I started looking at this over here, I started feeling like, could this be an office? And I don't think that was necessarily the intention of the Cougar team when they put this one together, but I'm one of these people, I tend to never do anything the normal way. I don't know if you've noticed that. I always have a weird way about things. It drives my wife nuts. She's like, can't you just be normal for once? But hear me out on this. Like, what kind of caught my attention first was that set of household and USB outlets. And then I thought, wait a minute. What if you hop down to the living room and you grab one of those free-floating chairs? There's plenty of room down there for it. And then I got to look and I'm like, that looks kind of like a desk. I'll tell you, if you sit at it, this is too high to just like set a keyboard on it. But you get like a little, if you're going to convert this to an office, the only thing I think you need to do is just get one of those little slide out trays. You could put your keyboard on that. You could have your monitor up top. You could have like a little wireless printer going over here. You've got places to plug in office needs, stuff like printers, your phone chargers and stuff. Not to mention, you still have all of the other space in here. And if you really needed to close the door and make it nice and private, you could. It might get a little bit warm in there because there is not specifically an AC duct up here as there is in the bathroom. But I feel, personally, this is something that could serve like 4 different purposes for somebody. This could be an amazing full-time like business traveler, work camper for people if you're working remotely. This isn't one I think you, like, a lot of times you're like, oh, I'll get a mid-bunk and I'll turn it into an office. I think this is a surprise contender you never saw it coming. So what do you think of that? It's weird, it's unconventional, but am I wrong? I feel it could very easily be converted into an office space. The work I do, like posting pictures and videos and stuff, other than the physical capture of the photos and videos, I could totally have like a little mini studio if I wanted to get all pretentious, but a little mini office up here, I could make that work. And I think you could do it for like $20 with a little slide out tray off of Amazon or something like that. I don't know. Then again, it could just be a closet. So we saw those nightshades pulled down, and it's kind of funny because I think on camera at least, the RVs look better on camera with those shades drawn. But, with the light pollution coming in, sometimes it washes things out. But this floor plan with all of the windows over here on the door side, it feels like it was made to do this. It wasn't made to close everything off. I will tell you, though, if you were in a screaming hot sunshine area, those blackout shades will keep the temperature down in here. They'll be your best friend. Shoot. Okay, you get the idea, right? One of the chairs I left upstairs because I'm an idiot. All right, never mind. Actually, you know what? Let's turn chicken poop into chicken soup. How about that? We are going to take this as an opportunity to demonstrate and really showcase the fact that they've updated the new for 22 no knee knocker dining down here. So you don't have that annoying post in the middle. I tell you, I can find that thing with my long legs and my knees. I can bash that thing like nobody's business. Theater seat, of course, directly across from the entertainment over there. That's pretty common, kind of things, as it were. And as you may have guessed, back here we do have ourselves that nice trifold hide-a-bed sleeper sofa. And another good look at those blackout shades. Just once again, if you're going to sleep back there, you're going to want the privacy. Now, I like to point out the highs and the lows. Like, here's some highs. Household and USB outlets and side stands on both sides of that sofa. So if you are in hide-a-bed mode, you actually even have CPAP-friendly guest sleeping here, and that is an ultra-cuddle compliant little couch over there, that's CCC, if you will, and I don't mean cargo carrying capacity. Not since my prom date, anyway. The other thing is, you see that little light switch over there? That thing is awesome, because that is what can flick on all the ceiling lights in the main cabin without you needing to walk over and touch the R2-D2 in-command pad. So this RV has a handy little smart system. If you want to control every darn thing pretty much on this RV right from your phone, you can, but you don't necessarily have to. You just still have a switch on the wall, which is nice. electric space eating Tootsie Toaster down there. This RV also has tank heaters, which is excellent. And that big, in case you missed it, the giant 4K sticker pointing at us, giving us an idea what we're looking at here. Now, Cougar does a little bit of a split decor. They only offer this decor. I hope you like it. If not, we might want to find you something else from Haylett RV. The thing is, in this floor plan for me, it works really well because it's more consistent for some reason, this layout. There are some manufacturers who are halfway through the entertainment center or the kitchen slide, they'll shift the woodwork, and that can be a little bit jarring. Cougar will change each floor plan a little bit to give it kind of like logical breakpoints, you know? I suppose we've mostly seen everything, but let me just kind of complete the 360 over here before we start cranking open all the kitchen stuff. And by the way, that's not carpet. On camera, it looks funny. When you see it in person, that is like a pontoon flooring, basically. It's like marine grade flooring. So it's something that if you happen to spill stuff on it, it just sort of goes, what else you got? So to begin with, you see the dual basin stainless sink, but right down here, they kick it right off with just wide open space. Now, you can always add shelving to open space if you want it, but a really big wastebasket is something that not every RV can feature. And already you're seeing lots of drawers over here. You got plywood drawers down to the floor. Excellent pantry space over here next to the 4-door gas electric fridge freezer, which is the standard on this model. You do have the option at this time of going to like a 16 cubic foot residential. I know for a fact at the time of this filming, Cougar is prototyping larger 12 volt technology. And I will tell you, as soon as the larger 12 volt refrigerators become available in these, you won't have to ask me. That is what we are going to flip to for our everyday stocking. But remember, if that's not your preference, like, no, I want to get one of those more advanced solar packages and I want the two-way refrigerator like you got here so I can be a little more comfortable boondocking. No sweat. We'll build you one however you want. It's just the way that we tend to build them sometimes varies a little bit. Now, something they did here, I think they took a page out of Montana's book. I love this. The symmetry kitchen. I like it, just like that front closet. I like it when you split things down the middle and they fold over right in half onto themselves. But check this out. This Cougar is actually one of the very first ones where I started using the goofy, stupid phrase, pantrytainment center, because they have full-on storage back there. And what I like about that is, you know, it's a push-pull. Do you guys prefer a televator, understanding that you can't pivot the TV, or do you prefer a pivoting TV like this with storage behind it, which gives you the ability, let me pivot this out just a little bit here, to suddenly really chill on the rear couch back here. And like I said, maybe you want to put your little significant other beside you, maybe one of the grandbabies or just a big dog. Or, let me, hold on, kick off my shoes here. Maybe you just like to twist around, kick your feet up, you know, be able to take in a movie. You know, this is your point of view when you're sitting here. Is this your preference, or do you prefer a televator where you gotta kind of, you can still see the TV? Maybe it's not a direct view like this, but I don't know. Which way do you prefer to go? Just for comparison, here's a little simulated look of kind of what a televator version would look like. I don't think it looks terrible. I think it just depends on, do you like to lounge on the couch or sit on the theater seat? I don't think there's a wrong answer. I can see it both ways, but I don't know. Be curious to know what you guys kind of think about it. Now, that door that's open over there, it kind of just looks like a double pantry. So you might ask, well, what's behind door number 2? Which is a interesting little pun. If you weren't familiar with this model, you'll see in just a minute. It's our half bath. I love the way they did it, though. This is something I think so many manufacturers really kind of botch, because most of the time when you're getting a half bath, it feels, I don't know a better way to say this, it feels like you're crapping where you eat. You know, it doesn't feel pretty. What they did here, by just kind of hiding it, masking it, almost like, actually what I think it is, personally, I kind of call this a walk-through broom closet right here, because I'd put like broom hangers, coat hooks, all kinds of stuff. Dog leashes, oh yeah, on the walls over here. They're readily accessible, but you just close that door. Close that door. Close that door. And suddenly, it just disappears. Now, inside the little half bath there, you've got a decent full-on kind of medicine cabinet here. And you might notice Keystone ships things like the toilet paper holders loose. You can just ask us to put them wherever you want. And when you're sitting here on the toilet overlooking the sink, you can have a conversation with your neighbors about what you had for dinner last night, how things are going, you know. Awesome counter space in here, too. Like, if you have somebody on that rear hide-a-bed, this is the place where they can keep their toothbrush and stuff and stay out of, you know, your primary bathroom for the most part, unless they need to shower. The sink there is actually adult size, and then, holy crap on a spatula. I mean, just like under the kitchen counter, just a giant compartment over here. Now, to give you an idea, this is, I think, pretty decently sized, too. There's not a whole lot beside it, so it's not just good legroom. I think it's good, like, you know, hip and shoulder room, too. And then all the way up here, this is what I keep saying. They just nailed this floor plan. Instead of that mini loft that you've seen some other brands do, which always kind of struggled for popularity. Some people really liked it. Some people are like, that's weird. They made sure that you still have that nook in the bedroom, but for the most part, you see how this goes all the way up to the ceiling in the half bath. You've got an AC duct in here to keep it climate controlled, and that fan right there is a very interesting thing because it's actually, it is a max air fan. It's a different kind of rain blocker vent fan, which will allow you to effectively always keep that fan running even on a rainy day without needing to like add a different kind of cover to the roof there. But once again, you close that up and it just disappears. Now, we did just a ninja screaming blast through the upper deck of this earlier, so I wanted to slow down, take a little more time, cruise through this thing here, and specifically start taking a little more of a look at that upper nook where there are, interestingly, household and USB outlets up there. And I'd be kind of curious, like, is there something you'd put in there to run those? Would you just make that a phone charge station? Beyond that, looking down below, you can see that under this king bed, we do have a like full easy lift kind of storage system, and straight across that, some excellent dresser space and a little kind of, I don't know, call it miniature bonus closet or whatever here, since you obviously have that massive mega front closet. Now, straight across from the bed, and still with the same blackout roller shades, even though the bedside windows here have those same roller shades that we saw in the living room, you've got that awesome viewing window to kind of keep an eye on what's going on your campsite if you hear a funny sound. The other thing, it kind of reminded me, I forgot to talk about this, there's that yellow sticker on that outlet for the TV plug right there. You'll see several of those if you go back through and review this footage a second time. That is indicating that that outlet is actually pre-wired and inverter prepped, which I think is really, really cool, because this has, the one that we're looking at today has the most basic Solar Flex 200 package. It's a 200 watt panel. You can upgrade it to a second 200 watt panel if you want for 400 watts. You could add an inverter to this if you wanted, and you could have a reasonably robust off-grid battery tending package here without getting too invasive. And this is the most basic solar thing Keystone offers. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the roof. The other thing I want to show you here, I want to talk about the air conditioner a little bit. You see these interesting little vents? These little vortex blade vent things right here will suck more air out of the ducting and get more of that cold air down here faster, so that that air doesn't sit in the ducting getting hot up in the attic construction, as it were. Now, you might notice there's a lot of ducting in this because Keystone has changed up their whole air ducting on their more premium things. Like Montana has adopted the same thing here. It has just a superior airflow. They're using Coleman quiet air units. Once you put them in eco mode, it is as quiet, I will say, if not quieter from the ones I've been in, than a whisper ducted air system. This thing is awesome. It's one of the quietest, fastest cooling, most effective things I've ever seen. And consider this. People ask all the time, is this or that 4 seasons? I've made it very clear. I don't really like that phrasing. I think it sets a false expectation because RVs most certainly have limits. Cougar has wider tolerances than most, though. They are tested down to 0 degrees. I know people who have camped in far worse Michigan polar vortex winter weather than that, but they are factory tested up to at least 110 degrees. We don't talk about the hot climate camping on things enough. We just assume that, right? Most of us, I think 99% of us, frankly, are not camping when the snowflakes are flying. And if you're not camping when the snowflakes are flying, you don't need a 4 seasons camper. But Cougar has you covered. I don't care if it's screaming hot. I don't care if it's super cold. Cougar's one of the best weather package RVs you're going to find for this kind of money. And then for road mode here, if you needed to get up to that front closet, but like you couldn't open the slide for some reason, you could do a maneuver I call the Luke knee walker, and you could get yourself across there if need be. You notice the bed is actually supported by a couple casters down here, so it's not like, you know, the bed's hanging over negative thin air space and you're going to break something if you do it. Now, where we're standing right now is right by the entry door. So getting to the fridge is obviously pretty darn accessible. It's actually one of the things on this floor plan, interestingly, the two-way refrigerator is more accessible than the residential fridge option, just because like you can totally still access the freezer here, and maybe you can't completely open that door, but I think you can still open that enough that for getting a meal at a travel stop, it's reasonable. So the question then becomes the bathroom. And thankfully, where this one has that little hideaway half bath down here, you can retain bathroom access in this one. So it has a 1, 2, 3 snap, crap, and nap-tastic combination right here that for a big fifth wheel, it's not too bad, really. Just a killer look on these things right now, too. Starting right up front, we've actually got a shock dampening pin box, and you'll see, you might get a little glimpse later, there's like a blue shackle between the tires. That is the Road Armor suspension system. It is something, it's on Montana's. Mr. Haylett here has used a Montana for a while, and he actually went way out of his way to tell me once he's had Travel Supremes and all kinds of different various really high-level fifth wheels. He says he's never had something that tows as nicely as his Montana, and this is riding on the same suspension. I think that's awesome. I want you to note, there's no battery in here right now. And the reason I want you to note that and log that in your memory banks is when we walk around the corner, see how that light's on? Remember I've been telling you about the little factory solar package on this? It's a 200-watt package. It's not massive, but it can provide live demand for light-duty 12-volt stuff like those lights. Now, you start popping awnings and stuff, and it's not going to be able to keep up with that. But just to kind of give you an idea of how well it works, when these campers come in, I will actually hook my battery box up to those battery terminals to recharge it on a busy day to extend my ability to keep working. It works well. Another one of those handy inverted outlets, TV hookups, and the in-command brain system. A couple things I want to point out for you on this thing. Every wire in every Keystone RV is color-coded. They're one of the only towable manufacturers still to this day that does that. They've been doing it for the better part of 5 years or more now. The other thing that's kind of cool is you can select various motors on this and hit the on-off button right there, where you can do things like open and close slides or awnings or stuff like that without needing to get inside of the RV, or let's say for whatever reason your phone's not connecting, or I don't know, your neighbor broke your in-command panel or something like that. You still have a physical switch. You can do that stuff. The marker light up front has a black thing on it. You might be a little small from here, but it is side camera prepped as well as rear camera prepped. And you can see the double power awnings giving us some maximum coverage over here. When is more awning space ever the wrong answer? I don't know that it ever is. Plus, all the windows over here on the door side. Now, these are framed windows, which provide maximum airflow. You do have a dual pane window option that would be frameless. And there's something I got to address here. You're looking at the back of this. It looks like something's missing. And then you realize, where is the frickin' ladder? And there is a absurd shortage of ladders in the industry at the time of this filming. I'm hoping it gets resolved. The longer this footage goes, know that it is not Cougar's intention to build them like this ladderless. It is their ladder supplier has the parts. At the time of this filming, they're having a labor shortage and they're unable to build enough ladders to get them out. Now, here's some good news. Because it is Cougar's intention to use ladders on these, there are still ladder backers in the wall. We could still source an aftermarket ladder for you and get one applied here, interestingly enough. But not to Cougar's desire. Currently, sometimes they're not able to build these with a ladder. Their intention, again, is as soon as they can, they're going to get ladders back on them. I just want to give you an idea that the one that we're looking at here in this video, that could be different from the one that we have in stock. I will try to make our pictures always match what we have in stock on our website. And if an even better idea than that, because I make mistakes. I see so many RVs come through. I take a lot of pictures, and sometimes I grab the wrong set of photo files. I've made mistakes. I've mistyped things on screen before. Give our team a call. ask the salesperson, can you go out and take a picture of the back of that Cougar for me, text it to me, make sure it has a ladder? We're happy to do that kind of stuff. We get it. This is a lot of money. We want you being very confident in your purchase because a lot of people to buy from Haylett RV are from nowhere near around here. If it were me and I was going to travel that far, I'd sure want a real good look at this thing myself. I don't think that's unreasonable, and know that we are more than happy to do what it takes to make you confident in your purchase. All right, so now that we got that fun nonsense out of the way, which annoys me because I would rather go up to the roof and show off a couple things like that Max Air vent, like that solar package. And today I just don't have a good way to do that. We do have a 300-pound accessory hitch on the back here. And just like Big Brother, Montana, you have that handy little sewer hose caddy tube down here. So you don't got to get pink eye mixing your black tank stuff with your lawn chairs. You're just sitting there, you know, trying to put your drink in your cup holder. You end up scratching your face because a mosquito flew by your face and bam, pink eye. You know, that's how it happens, guys. I don't know. You know what? I talked about it. Let me give you a good look at this down here. The Road Armor suspension package that you have on these. What separates this and makes it a little different, notice how there's rubber shock dampeners above and below the shackle. And that, I think, is really the key to what makes this one handle so nicely, because it doesn't just soften bumps, it prevents them as much as anything. And I've always felt if you want your structure of your RV to hold together nicely, take the shock and jolt and bump and jump out of it right from the ground level, which obviously Cougar seems to agree. Enclosed, heated, protected docking center. We have enclosed, heated underbelly, radiant barrier through the belly, up the nose, across the roof. 12-volt tank heaters on every tank. A direct forced air heat vent on every single tank. And I love that little hidden tool chest right there. Just above our auto leveling controls, you see that blue guy? That is a Victron lithium-friendly 15 amp charge controller. That is the base charge controller on the 200 watt Solar Flex package. You also have the option of going into the Solar Flex 400i package, which is 400 watts that can actually technically scale up to 1200, but 800 easily. That comes with a 200 watt inverter, which is pretty beefy. Then there's the Big Daddy, the 600IL package. Has a 270 amp hour Dragonfly lithium battery, soft start on the air, 300 watt hybrid inverter, which if you're not familiar with that, let's say you're mooch stocking and you only have a 15 amp like household socket you can plug into, a hybrid converter will only pull the juice it needs off the battery to supplement where it's coming in short on the RV. And when you're not using that stuff, it's just automatically charging things. It ain't the cheapest thing, but man, it's awesome. So let me know what you think about this one, the good, bad, ugly, and everything in between. And if you appreciate the way that we go ahead and we let you know things like what's going on with the whole ladder situation and giving you the information to make the best decision possible. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button on our video, or even better, subscribe and follow along. We are family owned and operated. We don't do hidden dealer fees, and we really, really appreciate the support. Just even the viewership, and even better yet, the chance to work with you when you are ready. Now, if you're trying to figure out, like, can my vehicle handle this thing or not, give our team a call. If you're kind of curious what one of these things run, check the link in our video description. We leave that there for you so you can always see current pricing, not just what it happened to be at the time of this filming, because that stuff changes over time. And that will always tell you an in-stock asking price or at least last known MSRP. When you're ready, we'd love to work with you. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone.